Hey guys, welcome to HKC 217 podcast about all seasons energy. This week's podcast is sponsored by Sheffield Forged Amateur Boxing Club, which is where I go 2 or 3 times a week to keep myself fit and ready for the season. In this episode, we're going to be going over the race results and the race report for round 2 of the OMG British Mini Bikes Championship.
Which was at Lydd.
And then we're going to be going over round 4 of the MotoGP.
Gran Primo de España.
Alright. And then we'll be going over the MotoGP Fantasy League. Took us to Lydd. Weather were really nice, weren't it?
Yeah, fantastic weekend away there. Sometimes, we haven't been there for 2 years, I believe.
Yeah.
Last time we were there, it were in July. Really nice weather. Anyway, we went and it were really nice. To our surprise, we were weather watching. It was really nice weather this weekend. Not mega hot. Kind of ideal race temperature, really.
Yeah.
Bit warmer for the track.
I think it were alright for the track. I were boiling in my leathers, but if you've had a bit of cool down.
A bit more stickier track, would that have been better?
I'd rather be cooler than have a
I'm on about
track.
Grip.
That's what I mean. I'd rather be cooler than have grip.
Right, okay. Right, so as we roll in, we're going to go through Hudson's race report first, and then we're going to hit all the results by class all the way through the BMB thing. So we're going to go into qualifying first. We're going to try and take it in turns here, talking through stuff. So in qualifying in the 110, and we're going to go through the 110 Open and Oval class first. Good session. You kind of headed out like first on qualifying.
Yeah.
We were going to kind of
I
wait.
wanted to get right to front. So yeah, we were gambling, saying should we go to back, should we go to front? Then we decided to go right to front, out of pits, and flew off.
Kind of got away.
Yeah, got away from everyone else.
No traffic.
No traffic. No traffic. I only got a few back markers, but that were all right.
Set your pole position, or set your P1 on your own relay, which were really
P1.
good.
And then halfway through the session, you were like P1 on my board, and then Dad put out P2. I was like, all right. So then I pulled it out of bad, pushed a bit more.
Putting a good PB towards
good PB,
and
yeah.
I think you were kind of. I think we kind of, if you can remember during it, I was like chill a little bit because I think you had a good 14 laps of qualifying. I think we said chill a little bit. And actually, it was a tactic that didn't really. Well, it could have actually backfired a little bit because you were pushing a little bit, and you had quite a gap on P2, and then in the last lap and the penultimate laps of P2 and P3, Valle and Parker, they put in really good laps. I think Valentino put in a really good lap on the last lap, and it wasn't as far in front as what we thought it were going to be. So they could have easily actually nicked that first place off you.
Yeah, well, on the last lap, I actually thought that. I came over the line, I was like, celebrated, and then I'm like, it's not over yet. It's not over yet. They still need to come round.
So qualifying, really good. Started anyway, panned out okay. Luckily, P1 pole position. Pole position is right on at Lydd.
Yeah,
It's okay. It's forward.
It's okay forward. But I don't know. If you're on the inside, obviously you got the better line for tight racing. But if I normally get a good start, so I'd actually rather be on the outside, just to get a good line through that.
Yeah, you kind of have to come across a little bit. Yeah. It's like a bit of a. I know it's not a flip flop, but it's like a right hander and then a left hander. Quite a fastest corner. Yeah. So you do have to kind of get across a little bit. So anyway, we'll head in to the sprint race of the 110 Open. I'll let Hudson take over this.
Yeah, so I had a great start for the sprint race. Our first for the full race, I had a rider behind me, and the gap between me and him were a maximum of 0.3.
It fluctuated. It never went over 0.3. Yeah. I was putting 0.1 on your pit board.
Yeah.
All the way through.
All right.
If you can remember, I did. It was 0.3, but it was like 0.1, super close behind you.
Yeah. Just finished first in the Open class, and then I finished first in the Ovale 110 as well. So that were really good for race 1 of the sprint race. Then we go straight into race 2, starting P1 again from qualifying. Led the race being followed by Parker until lap 8, and then gained a 3 or 4 second gap to Parker. Then I also set the fastest lap for the full weekend, which was...
Well, no, your fastest lap.
Yeah, my fastest lap, sorry. Which was a 43.8.
So race 2, kind of similar to race 1, different riders chasing you, but yeah, you had 8 laps, somebody bang behind you again, 0.1 on your board again. I don't know if Parker got caught up in a back marker. I've been looking at the live time and trying to work out where that 3 to 4 second gap come from. It didn't come all of a sudden, but I think Parker had maybe, I don't know if you got back round the back markers a little bit better than Parker did.
Yeah.
And then they were all of a sudden 3 laps behind you.
I really don't know what happened. He just
He might have had a moment.
He might have had a moment, yeah.
I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, you had quite a comfortable lead there, and obviously you felt a little bit, I wouldn't say more relieved, but when you knew there were a few second gap. I think it went up to 3 seconds.
Yeah,
he went down back to 2 seconds.
You were saying chill, weren't you? Because I was still pushing a lot, and then he put out 1 second. I was like, oh,
yeah.
Right. So
but it changed so quickly. But 1 lap it changed. So I don't know if something happened.
Yeah, it probably had a moment.
There's some sections on that track where you probably could get caught over the hill.
Yeah,
and you have to wait all the way around that bit.
That happens sometimes when you go over there. You flick a gear and you get a massive wobble. You have to run.
Well, I'm just on about getting hauled up by bike markers.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, 8 laps of pressure, and then it kind of eased off a little bit. Kind of a bit of a comfortable win, although it was only 3 seconds, I think, down the road from you as you cross the line. So then into the 110 race 3.
Yeah, very similar to race very similar to race 1, but this time I had Parker on my back wheel the entire race. Started getting a little spicy towards the... Yeah, we're on the last lap.
Well, I say spicy. There were a lot.
The
back markers come.
They come very fast, it seems.
I was looking at the back markers coming up, and I was like, when are these back markers going to come up? I think you did have to deal with a couple of back markers before that, but there was a group.
Them guys were all right. The guy, but there were a group of them, and they're racing, and we're coming up, and I'm like, oh, where we're going to meet them here? And it met in the worst possible place.
Panned out on the last lap.
On the last lap, last corner, coming into it, braking at the end of the straight. So me and Parker are coming down, and we slam on brakes, go up the inside, and Parker, I don't know how he did it, but he must have braked so much later, and he came right round the outside of me. Fair play to him, we're a good move. Came right round outside. And then we finished.
Awesome move, I'd say.
It was really
I couldn't believe
it. He came round. I'm like, what? I'm actually seeing this.
So he come round outside of you then?
Outside of me, yeah.
Absolutely mega move.
0.092 over the last
lap. So as you were crossing that, Parker come round, overtook you on the corner.
Sorry, checker flag.
But you kind of both got on the straight together. I think Parker was there, Hudson was there. Yeah. So it was 0.092 as they crossed the line. So again, massive there was, I think there were 3 riders in them.
Yeah,
in that pack?
3 riders in that pack.
Yeah, awesome move. Sometimes you've got to take advantage of that. Probably when you're following somebody like that, I can imagine and you've done this before. When you're chasing somebody like that and you're seeing a back marker come up, as the rider chasing, you're hoping that it's going to be awkward for the rider in front to get past, and you're going to hope that they're going to have problems getting past. As Hudson leading, he's hoping that he can get past, and it's going to mess up the rider behind him, so he could nip through, and then he gets stuck behind him. I believe that as I looked right down the track, I think you had another rider that was on his own, right down the bottom of the track, and you got in front over the hump.
Yeah.
And Parker actually made up a lot of time. We'll have to ask Parker about that. So as I looked down the track, Hudson was in front, and it looked like Parker got held up on that final corner. So I don't know if you nipped in front of somebody. Parker chased you down, and I was just looking at these riders coming. They were over the mountain bit.
It might have been. It might have been that I took a weird line into. Was it over the hump?
No, before that, out of sight. But you come in front, quite in front of Parker, not massively, but I'm like, I thought it's done.
I got him up inside, and I couldn't get a good exit. That is what happened. Normally you run out really wide on that very far corner, and I cut it tight to get up the inside of him, and then I didn't get a good exit, and then Parker must have got him over the hump, and he's got a good exit. And
as I looked down the track though, I thought, oh, it's done. And then I'm looking up the track thinking, I think at that point as you were going over the mountain, they were just exiting the just going round the left-hander, and I'm like, oh god, they're gonna catch him. They were probably entering that left-hander, and I thought, you're gonna catch him on this back straight, yeah, definitely. And then you were all on the back straight. I'm like, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyway.
Thinking that? Why are you already thinking that?
No, I'm not saying that. I was just thinking it's going to be a little bit.
But yeah, congratulations to Parker for his first win as well.
Yeah, so I don't know if that's his first ever. I believe it's his first BMB ever win. Yeah. He might have won in some other championships up in Scotland. Certainly his first BMB win, as far as I know. First win on that Bucci as well, which is fantastic. So Parker's running Bucci MotoGP BR10, I think it's called. Yeah. So yeah, congratulations to Parker. I mean, like, fair play to him, credit to him.
Yeah.
Really good race.
Yeah, finished first. I finished first in the Ovale Cup, and then Parker finished first in the BMB.
In the open class. So Parker's got a BR10 Bucci. So there's only Parker who's in there who's got a Bucci. Valentino's got an Ovale bike, but they've got a different engine in, so they're not running to Ovale spec rules. So yeah, like, that's why it's hard to explain it a little bit, but there's like an open class. So the majority of riders in that class are actually all on the same bikes, identical bikes, sealed engines. Parker on the Bucci is obviously on a Bucci bike, and Valentino's on an Ovale bike, not entering into the Ovale Cup, with I believe it's like a stomp engine.
Yeah,
he's got on that. So overall in that class you got first in the Ovale Cup, and in the open class you got first, second. So we'll move on, and I'll read through these ones. We'll move on to the Ovale 160 class. You qualified 8th in class. You had an amazing start on this race one. This is the one where I think Arnie struggled a little bit, and you actually nearly you nipped past that metric kit.
Yeah.
You jumped from P8 to P4. Stayed up in the mix with Arne and whatever not on that first lap. You panned out a little bit. You had a good little battle with Harrison chasing you down, and you finished the race there, and you finished that race I think 7th and 3rd in the Ovale 160 Cup. In race 2, this time from lap 5 you had so this is when you had the Metric Kit rider behind you for the whole race. So from lap 5 the Metric Kit rider come up, and you two were like together, bang. Could you hear that Metric Kit bike?
Yeah.
Quite easy compared to the Ovale.
It's scary because it's like there. You're like, oh.
Can you hear it like a lot louder?
Yeah.
Does it sound like it's closer?
Yeah, definitely. Like 4-stroke, it's like hard to like.
With your own engine as well.
Yeah, because you mix it up sometimes with your own engine. You're like, oh my gosh, he's here, and then you look behind him, he's like 3 seconds behind. But with that, you can definitely.
I bet you can. I mean, like, they were really good racing by them two guys, and they both. I ain't got the time up there, but you both crossed the line, and like I think we've got a couple of pictures you can see on the page there where Hudson and the Metric Kit rider. So the Metric Kit rider's name's Sam Gardner. So yeah, fantastic race there.
Yeah.
Bang on the side here. So, and then in that race you finished 7th again and 3rd in the Ovale 160 Cup, and then going on to race 3, battling again with Sam Gardner. I think he stayed behind you for like 4 laps.
Yeah.
And then I think he nipped past you on back straight. I think he got a better exit than you.
Yeah.
He passed you on the back straight.
Passed me on the back straight into braking zone.
He broke away from you a little bit as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, another good battle. I bet you were thinking, oh no, here we go again. I'm going to have like 10 laps of this. But yeah, really fantastic race again. Hudson finished 6th in the open class and 3rd in the Ovale 160 Cup. So you're happy with the progression made in the 160. I think we're closing gap a little bit there. We had a good little debrief. We're tweaking that bike a little bit. Again, this is only Hudson's second round. Second race meeting. Yeah, that's the right word to say. So yeah, really happy with that. Fantastic weekend. Really good fun. Nice weather. We were gonna. The weather watch. It were meant to be raining at some point, probably like 10 days out. So I think I wouldn't say we got away with it, but yeah. Anyway, so a really good second round of the championship.
Yeah.
So as we move on to results in race 1 in the 90 race, in 3rd position it was William Dickinson, in 2nd position was
Max Robinson,
and in 1st position was Caden Herring. In race 2 in the 90s it was Dylan Cook In second position was
Max Robinson.
And in first position was Caden Herring. And in race 3 on the 90s, third position was Dylan Cook, second place was Max Robinson, and first position was Caden Herring. So little Caden romping away in that night. I love that. Good little rider. Interesting watching his little progress. Obviously his older brother rides in the 110 and I believe the 160 Cup as well.
Yeah.
Moving over to...
Are we doing overall?
No, it'll be the same.
It'll be the same, yeah.
Moving over to the 110 Cup. So in the sprint race, Hudson come in first position, Valentino in second position, and Parker in third position. Into race 2, Hudson in first position, Parker in second position, Valentino in third position. And into race 3, Parker in first position, Hudson in second position, Valentino in third position. Shout out to Chloe Gleason, who got her first podium on her opening round of the Ovale Cup.
Yeah.
Another shout out to Max Robinson. I believe
sticking it in there.
He got an Ovale podium as well, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
In the yeah.
So that's his first Ovale podium. So Max is riding. We went out to Spain. We've been out to Spain twice with Max. So Max is running an Ovale 110 and in the 90s as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
The MotoGP 160 in the sprint race, Finlay Pohill come in first position, Valentino Kirk in second position, Arnie Carr in third position. So that's the overall standings there in the sprint race. Obviously the Ovale race is within that race.
I'm in 7th there.
You're in 7th there, but yeah, the Ovale standings are within that.
Yeah.
So we'll just read the overall on that one. In the second race, Finlay Pohill, Wilson Dilks and Arnie Carr. And in the final race, it was Thorley Trevorrow, Arnie Carr and Valentino Kirk. So that was the 160 open class results. That I can't separate that. There was a couple of metric kits in that race. I think three metric kits?
3 or 4, yeah.
Mini GP 190, and we'll just do the overall results on this one. So Sullivan Munsey come in first position, Emery McCartney in second position, and Finlay Pohill in third position. Massive shout out to Sully, who we were watching from our paddock area, and we've seen Sullivan doing a massive Superman impression. Thankfully, it was all right. We were literally all up on the fence watching him.
Like watching him, Steve went, like look at Sully coming around this corner. Look at how he exits, and we like all had his eyes on him, and then he came past and like had a high side.
I believe I can fly.
Yeah, went flying onto glass.
Overall points, overall results in. Is there any classes in this? Overall results in the minibike 140. So Lucas Brown in first position, Michael Mead in second position, and Ben Lord in third position. Overall super minis, Jake Smith in first position, David Ferns in second position, and Lewis Smith in third position. Minibike the minibike 160 and vets this one. So Gavin Trappenden, Neil Baker in second position, and Robert Mead in third position. The minibike 160, Michael Mead, Dan Merrin, and Samuel Morrison in that one. I think a little shout out to Mike Carr as well, even though he come 5th overall. He got a podium because I've seen the picture of him. But that rounds up. So that rounds up that. Again, apologies, like the classes, and some of these races are split classes and it's not showing it correctly on the speed dive.
The only one it shows it on is the minibike 160s. It
and
splits
vets.
it for the and vets.
So yeah, so massive shout out to everybody there. Fantastic weekend, really good vibe it were that weekend, weren't it?
Yeah.
Really enjoyed it. We
nice.
shall move on to. We are going to move over to the MotoGP roundup. So in qualifying, the MotoGP on all weekend, which was pretty cool, weren't it? Although we paused it and come back to watch it later in the evening.
Yeah.
For the racing, but we had
started like at the start.
We had all the we had the warm up on. I think we had quali on as well. Yeah, we had quali on as well, didn't we? So as we're looking at these results, and you might not have seen this because obviously you're distracted. You were obviously racing as well during this Saturday. So Bagnaia were in Q1. And he had to get out of Q1 to get into Q2. So Bagnaia
Wow.
Bagnaia and Binder. I don't know if they had a bad qualifying session. I'm not 100% what happened there. So them two got promoted out of there. Bezzecchi were also in Q1.
Yeah. Just didn't manage.
Who else is
didn't manage to get into Q2 though.
Yeah, Rins were also in Q1.
Wow.
So there were some big names in there.
Some big names, yeah, that did good in.
And then we go into Q2. and unbelievably, as we were watching on the Friday and the warm-ups, Danny Pedrosa were already sat there, established veteran. He were already sat there. So when Q2 finished, the final standings was Aleix Espargaro in pole, Jack Miller in second place, Jorge Martin in third place, Binder, who'd obviously been promoted from Q1, in fourth position. Bagnaia got fifth, so kind of recovered it back in fifth. And we'll say Danny Pedrosa in sixth position. That's like the first couple of rows there. So that were an exciting qualifying. We'll go into the sprint race, which I know the results here. In the sprint race, so I've got a bit of a summary that we've wrote out. So in the sprint race, both KTM bikes with Miller and Binder launched off the start of the line, and Espargaro basically just got engulfed. He could not get that bike started very well from P1. Into turn one, Binder and Miller got past him. On the next corner, Alex Marquez, Morbidelli and Bezzecchi all crashed. So if you can remember that, it were a pretty bad crash there. 3 riders down. They tried to clear the track. I don't think they were ever going to clear that track. And halfway around the lap, the red flagged it for a restart. On the restart, Espargaro tried to come across to block Miller after seeing what happened in the first and the start.
Can I just say, these KTM's, there's something has changed with these. Well, they're doing good, and the starts have
I think it's
amazing.
all info from Miller. But so Espargaro pushes across a little bit and tries to block Miller, but then that lets Binder just romp past other side of him basically. So I believe that Binder's on row 2 there. So Binder just romps past. Both unbelievable starts. Romps past into turn 1. Jorge Martin pushes up into second place, and then Jack takes him back. Martin then backs him back again, and then Bagnaia comes into the mix into third position. Miller takes the lead. Bagnaia pushes up into second place. Binder and Miller race for the lead. Binder makes an unbelievable pass, running so deep, but holds it for the next corner. Miller runs deep to let Bagnaia into second. Exciting race with Binder finishing first position, Bagnaia in second position, and Miller in third position. So that was the sprint race. Really exciting sprint race, that one, wasn't it? I mean, the KTM's were bossing it there. Bagnaia kind of started to have a little sniff. He obviously took Miller. I think he needed a little more distance, but it was a sprint race. You could see he had a little bit more, but Binder were on fire there. 12 laps. Binder's on fire. I mean, that move that Binder did were insane. How he kept it up. Moving over to the main race, Miller flies off the line again, leaving Espargaro for dust into turn 1, and also Binder on the other KTM coming past again, he stood still. This time, Quartararo crashed on, I think it's turn 2.
Yeah.
A bit of a bad crash for Quartararo.
Yeah, unlucky for Quartararo. He's crashed in the sprint race and the...
so if you remember this one, Quartararo, he got squashed by Oliveira. He hit Oliveira.
Yeah, got squished and then, just kind of...
And Bezzecchi's there as well. Is it Bezzecchi? Is it Bezzecchi I'm talking about? Is that the Mooney rider? Yeah, Bezzecchi.
Yeah, Bezzecchi.
So Bezzecchi's there. It's like he had nowhere to go. Anyway, unbelievably... it's a red flag. Quartararo's in gravel. It's a red flag. And then just before the restart, Quartararo's ready to restart. And then they issue that Quartararo's got a long lap penalty for getting squished, which I just thought were unbelievable.
Yeah,
but anyways,
if you can remember, commentators no, it's a terrible move.
Yeah, he weren't very happy about it, were he? So on the restart again, Espargaro again tries to block Miller. Bearing in mind they're starting in the same position, so this is the 4th time that they've started, even though they only have 2 races. He tries to block Miller again. He's got absolutely no chance. Miller just bombs straight past him before he's even pulled across, basically, waving to him with Red Bull. Both KTM bikes fly past. Bagnaia takes 3rd with an outrageous move around the outside of Martin, and then he goes round him on the outside on the one corner. You're like, wow, what is he doing there? And then he's kind of on the inside in the next corner. Unbelievable move. Wow, okay.
He set it up good, didn't he?
Yeah, that was pretty awesome. Bagnaia, outrageous move. Miller takes the lead back Miller takes the lead back from Binder, and then Binder takes it back. Bagnaia seems to push Miller. It looked like Miller run wide a little bit. Anyway, they touch. Miller's not happy about it at all. He waves, he gestures. Even Bagnaia says sorry. So then they carry on for another 2 laps. Nobody really thinks anything's going to happen from it. So they carry on for 2 laps. Bagnaia's chasing Binder down. And then race control says that Bagnaia's got to get his place back. So at this point, Bagnaia's actually gone up the road a little bit with Binder. And probably Miller's, I think he's 2 or 3 seconds down the road. And Bagnaia has to sit up, wait for Miller to come up. Then get back on it.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if that got the bit. I don't know what the quote is there. Bit between the teeth a little bit for Bagnaia. So then Bagnaia were on it. Then Bagnaia gives the pace back. Bagnaia then had to drop a few seconds, letting Miller pass. And I had to do it all again. He takes Miller again, and then he's on the hunt down for Binder. Then definitely seemed like he had a lot more grip than what Binder did.
Yeah.
He was just hunting him down.
Binder's.
He was sliding anyway, Binder.
Binder was sliding, and then
proper sliding.
Binder's always sliding, but Binder's back tyre was smoking.
Bagnaia just seemed like he had the grip.
Yeah, he seemed like he had the grip.
So I don't know how many laps it were. Anyway, so then Bagnaia gets past Binder.
Bagnaia gets past. I've got Bagnaia in my team, so I'm like, come on, Bagnaia. Bagnaia gets in first, and then
Binder's hunting him down.
Binder's I am on it. So on last lap, Binder comes
in massively deep, doesn't he?
Really
he was never going to make that corner though.
Well, he
might have.
He might have. Binder gets.
Or wiped them all out.
You never know. But yeah, Binder comes in his back end sliding all over. We thought they were going to crash.
Yeah, I thought they were going to crash.
and then Bagnaia pulls it in, and Binder has to back out.
Yeah, that's his only attempt. I don't know if it's on last lap. I don't know if it's last lap or last lap before.
It were last lap.
But yeah, really exciting race again. So main race, Bagnaia got first, Binder in second, Miller in third. So I don't know if that's the first time that's happened. That same 3 riders in different orders on both races. So the sprint race, Binder, Bagnaia, Miller, and in the main race, Bagnaia, Binder, Miller. Miller got 2/3. Absolutely awesome race. Really good. KTM's out of nowhere after having a bit of a rough.
Yeah, they had a good start. They dropped off for the second.
What were it?
And third
Americas.
Round. Yeah, Americas. They dropped off, and then
back again.
And then they're back on it again.
Time to put him back in team.
I know, yeah. I might be getting.
It would be mint having Miller in, wouldn't it? Too.
I know, yeah. It'd be all right.
I wouldn't have thought about having Binder in.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't have. But Binder, he's come out and I were contemplating that.
Yeah.
We were talking about Binder
So again.
All right.
Yeah. So again, amazing, exciting MotoGP. Really, really enjoyed that. So now we're gonna roll in. After doing that, we're gonna roll into the MotoGP Fantasy League. So this is probably the first time you've seen this as well, isn't it? So in first position, so this is a MotoGP Fantasy League. The link is in the description. You can still join if you want to join. Obviously, you're going to be points down, but it's still for fun. We really enjoy it. We've got 54 people battling out for prizes. So in first position is Vlada GP team. He's on 623 points, romping. Used one of his boosts. In second place is CR91, 565 points. So he's a good way. He's a good way behind. In third position is Bob the Milk, which we know is Brits the MotoGP guy. In fourth position is George Alaba. He is on 553 points. Fifth position, Rambo Racing. So he's nipped back in it. 544 points. So that's the top 5. I'm not going to read them all out there. Just to go down the list there with other riders that we do know is, where have I gone?
You're
Oh
there.
my gosh. So yeah, so to read down the list there, Eldon, so that's why Steve were bragging about that today. Steve's got up into 12th position. I'm in 15th position. 16th position, sorry. Who else do we know? You're in 22nd position, so improvement. Yeah, you've definitely moved
I'm
up.
wearing like 33rd today.
Alana's unbelievably in 25th position again by picking riders on colours and how the bikes look and names she recognises. Tim's Titans, he's for the love of MotoGP podcast host, Tim. El Loco Racing, which is Luca Wilkinson, he's in 28th position. Mum Boss Lady is in 29th position. Who else do we know there? Carter's Crashers, don't know these, do I? Where's S28 Doors and Floors, which is S20 Racing, that's Uncle Dan, he's in 34th position. Decimo Car, which is Mike Carr, he's in 38th position. And I think that concludes everybody that we know. Oh no, and it seems like I'm breaking. Oh yeah, Chloe Jones, she is in
I didn't know Chloe.
50th position. That's Jack Newton's mum. She's in 52nd, and unfortunately, Jack Newton is in last position. You need to use some of your boosts just to get out of there.
Just to get up.
So that concludes everything, doesn't it? Boom. 33 minutes.
Yeah.
And
that were quick.
Yeah. Rifle through that. So we needed to get that podcast out as fast as we can. We've got an upcoming race report. So if you check on the website, you can listen to that race report, which is literally the exact same as what we just wrote out there and read. That's available online to read if you want to read that. Don't forget, another little fact on what I've added now. Along the bottom here, you can see there's chapters along the bottom of the YouTube bar. So you can actually skip through the chapters. So you can go to race results, you can go to race reports.
Yeah, so if you're trying to look,
you can go to Fantasy League. I'm pointing here, like hopefully it's in the right position. This is on the YouTube edition of the podcast. I'm also going to include the timestamps so you can see these in the audio version of the podcast as well, because I'm doing the timestamps anyway. So that's pretty cool. It's a new feature where you can skip it through.
Yeah.
We've got an upcoming vlog coming out.
Yeah.
From Lydd. That's about halfway done now at the moment, so I'm working on that. We just needed to get this podcast out tonight. I'm working on the vlog. We've got an upcoming vlog coming up when we're going to see some of his RD racing teammates at BMB.
Yeah, so we'll be giving you an insight of what's happening.
What's happening in BMB Racing.
Racing.
That's the next vlog.
Yeah.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. You can watch this podcast on YouTube. You can also watch it on Spotify. You can also listen to this podcast on any podcast service. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I've already said that.
Yeah.
Follow Hudson's socials. Just search for HKC217. Give a like if you can. Really, really appreciate any likes and any shares that you can do.
Yeah.
Looking forward to...
All helps, it's free.
All helps, it's free, yeah, basically. So, hope you enjoyed it. That concludes the end of episode, and we didn't say the episode number. I believe it is episode
30.
30. So, see you on the next one.